Hi, I'm Elaine Harding. Welcome to my blog at stampwithelaine.com. Today I have a really simple card featuring the Sweet Songbirds photopolymer stamp set. This is a really quick card with minimalist supplies. If you wish to add some embellishments, you can, but I wanted to keep it really simple so that I could post it easily. I'm revisiting the mirror technique, but this time I'm going to do it with sponge daubers. I made a template, so I'm using that same template to mount my stamps onto the stamp apparatus. Just to recap on how you can mount the stamps to fit in the punch so that when you stamp you can punch everything and it's all in alignment. So now I've got my template, I'm going to use the same template and I put my stamps in there and line them up. I omitted this one because it kept falling off and the stamp is so small I don't want to lose it. I've lined up my stamps on the stamp apparatus with this template from the punch. I can start stamping my mirror image. So you need the stamp apparatus, a silicone mat, some sponge daubers. I've dedicated a sponge dauber to each colour. This one is for Calypso Coral and the other is for Petal Pink. The inks I'm using are Petal Pink and Calypso Coral. I'm also using the Painted Posies 3D embossing folder. This is new and you'll find it on page 177 in the annual catalogue for 2022 to 23. The card base is a standard card base and it measures 8 1/4 by 5 7/8 and folded in half. In metric that's 21 centimeters by 14.5 centimeters and folded in half. Then we need a piece of soft sea foam to emboss the cardstock with. That's all. That's all the materials you need. I chose this embossing folder because, as you can see, if you turn it on its side, it looks as though these are the branches of a tree with blossoms on it. And I thought it would be perfect for making this card. So I'm going to emboss that first. You only need your grey plate and I'll be back. Now I need to trim this down to 3 3/4. So I want to keep as much of the branches as I can. So it's 5 1/2. Trim it to 5 1/2. I think I'll take a bit off either end. I'm going to glue this directly onto the card front because I don't want to lose this piece. Make sure it's opening the right way and adhere that to the card front. Now I'm going to use the silicone mat, the stamp apparatus and the sponge dauber and ink. Now I showed you how I mounted my stamps before, so I'm going to just apply ink on here. I initially stamped with the ink pad and then used the sponge dauber on top to give it a more dappled look. Pop that on. I'll put my cardstock in the corner right here, so I know that it's exactly in the same position all the time, and being careful not to move it, I can lay my cardstock down and stamp. So you see it's covered. Then I'm going to use the darker ink and sponge it and just do it on the breast. And it's a good idea to mark which is the top and which is the bottom, because if you turn your paper around the wrong way then you will spoil the image. Is that the right way? Nope. So stamp. This is the top. That's the bottom. So pop that back in the corner, lay it down and stamp. Do you see it? There's a bit of darker colouring there. So let's do it again so it's more pronounced. Pop my cardstock back in, that's the bottom, so that flips round, and stamp again. And bring in my punch, and you see it will punch in right position. And it's this side that we want. Okay, so that's the wing for that side. And that's for the breast, by the way. So that's here. You can do it in a different colour, but I don't want to. Let's apply a little bit of adhesive on the wing and attach that so that I don't lose it. So back there. Do the opposite image one. So I'll start off with just stamping it straight away with Petal Pink ink. I'm going to sponge round the belly, just around here. And then I'll just use the punch to punch this out. So the one with the blank is the one that faces toward the right, and this one that's stamped on both sides is the mirror image one, which will be pointing to the left. So now I want to glue this wing onto the bird. Bring back my card, grab some dimensionals and pop this. Oh, I've got to stamp the eyes. That's the heart, that's the music. Where's the eyes? Stamp that in Calypso Coral. Fairly close to the beak. Pop some dimensionals on the back. And I want it to sit on the branch here, with his tail curling up the same angle as the branch. Then pop the dimensional beneath the bird's breast, so nestled under there like so. Maybe straighten it. Then there's this music note stamp, so I'll just stamp it on the top here randomly. Now there's lots of different sentiments on this set. A little bird told me ... A little note of thanks. It's your special day. So happy you're here. You've got something to celebrate. Welcome and congratulations. And for the inside of the card, I'm going to risk it and not put another layer on. I've smudged it there, so maybe this greeting will cover it up. I'm going to stamp off, and this is actually the beak, but it could also double up as little hearts. And I could just stamp some music notes on there. Now if you're not happy about that, it looks too much like a beak, then you can draw around it and sort of fill it in. Before I go, here's another sample I made using the other stamp. So there was a branch, a nest, the little tiny bird. I used the Picture This dies to cut these rectangular holes. A little wood stamp here, straight bits so that you can hang your welcome sign on. Little feet. The eyes, this one is obviously his eyes closed, and then there are two sets of leaves. Although it's just the one stamp, you can cut them separately. All these are fussy cut, and then I use the little flower to dot it round. And this is today's card. So I hope you've enjoyed today's tutorial. Pop back for more inspiration next time. All the supplies are listed below this video in the Show More section. You can also find me on Facebook, Pinterest or Instagram. If you'd like to read more, then the link to the blog post is below this video in the Show More section. If you like it, do give me a thumbs up. I'd really appreciate it if you liked and shared. And if you haven't subscribed yet, then do hit the subscribe button. Thank you so much for joining me today, and I'll see you next time. Bye.